Thank you for coming here today. It's a great honour to be stood here in front of you, and I want to compare two cases very briefly to illustrate something. I want to talk about a black drug addict and career criminal named George Floyd. When police were arresting him for the umpteenth time, when he was high on fentanyl, he passed away. And one of his last words, or one of his last phrases was, "I can't breathe." And those words set fire to many Western cities. People protested. People said Black Lives Matter. People took the knee. The police took the knee. Politicians took the knee. And our Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, took the knee. But when a completely innocent, law-abiding white boy was stabbed to death on our streets, and his last words were, "I can't breathe," people who wanted to talk about that, people who wanted to highlight what he went through, who wanted to highlight the way the police behaved, we were shamed. We were called racists, and initially the entire establishment wanted to sweep it under the carpet. So much so that members of the killer's family who took part in the cover-up were never charged with the murder. But worse still, when Henry Novak lay there bleeding to death, pleading with officers that he couldn't breathe, what did the officers do? They mocked him, they handcuffed him, and they only attempted to help him when he passed into unconsciousness. His last memory on this earth was being arrested on the directions of his immigrant killer. Now, a long time ago, I said two things. White people will be reduced to a minority in their ancestral homelands, and that when we are, we won't be just second-class citizens. We will be a despised and hated minority because of our ethnicity. And the Henry Novak case proves that beyond a shadow of doubt. A young white boy stabbed to death by a Sikh who was openly carrying knives as he walked down the street. And when the police arrived, the police handcuffed him because his killer said that he'd been racist. And you might say, look, this guy's speaking in Tamworth. He's not taking into account that this was an accident. It was an oversight. The police didn't know what had taken place. But if you think that, you're either very naive or you're lying. Because what the police did on that night was follow Conservative Party guidance. Because in the wake of George Floyd's death, the Conservatives passed a piece of police guidance called the Race Action Plan. And the Race Action Plan meant that when an accusation of racism was made at a scene of a crime, that would be taken more seriously than anything else. Even more seriously than providing life-saving medical care. that tells you something. That to the establishment, the government, the media, the Conservatives, and the Labour Party, to them, white lives don't matter. We mean nothing to them. And that's why they're replacing us, and that's why they're allowing us to be persecuted and even murdered. But that's why we're here today. Because many people say there's no one who cares, that no one will stand up. And the reason why it appears that no one cares and no one will stand up is because everyone's so damn scared of being called a racist. And I'll tell you this.
We ain't.
I would rather be called a racist than allow my people to be replaced and victimised. These are our lands. And we shouldn't be subjected to two-tier justice. Nor should we, in fact, be just treated as equals. We should be first-class citizens. Our ancestors built these islands from nothing. This is our racial inheritance. We have a right to live here in peace, unmolested by immigrants. We have a right to our homeland. We have a right to remain a majority, and we have the right for ourselves, our children and our grandchildren to be put first. When we originally brought this famous banner out, somebody might be able to help me, but I think it was around 2019, and we flew it from the highest point in Edale at the top of Mamtor. And people said then, they'll never dare get this banner out in a town or city centre because no one will support them. People will chase them out. And there are hundreds of people here today supporting this message. Because this banner has travelled all round the UK and it's woken up millions of people, and it's been seen by tens of millions of people all over the world. Because this banner bears a slogan that although it's a taboo for the white liberals in power, although they're dirty words for the Marxist traitors and people from ethnic minority communities who want to replace us, these words have struck a chord with people. And more people will now start saying them. At one point, they wanted to ban us and put me in jail for saying these words. They banned me from travelling to 29 European countries and closed all my bank accounts. But a few months ago, Nigel Farage borrowed these three words and said them in Parliament. The issue is, these words matter. White lives matter. And if we want to make sure that there's never another case like the case of Henry Novak, we need to be brave enough to stand up and say, not only are we proud to be British and English and Scottish and Welsh, not only are we proud of our country's achievements, not only are we proud to be white, but our lives matter. In fact, they come first. I would now like to ask you all something before I thank you for being here. I'd like to thank everyone, but I'd also like to ask everyone if you could come forward, lift up a placard, get behind this banner. Let's have a photo to show how many people were here. Let's raise our banners, let's say Henry Novak's name, and let us say, White Lives Matter! White Lives Matter! White Lives Matter! Pick up the placards, guys, and hold them up high. Get these photos on social media. Do not let the people in Westminster, those who control Facebook, those traitorous wretches in the BBC ignore us. Make this event go viral and let other white Britons know there are people out there who care. Thank you so much for being here.